If you're looking at your payroll and you're feeling sick, or you might be afraid to look at it at all, and you're seeing wage costs 40, 50, 60%, even 70%, and that's before you've even paid yourself. You're cutting hours, you just can't seem to get anything to work. And every single week, you're hoping next week's gonna be better, but it never comes. In this video, I'm gonna show you the difference between a wage problem and a revenue problem, and why most owners are focusing in the wrong area. Plus, I'm gonna give you a free tool that you can use inside your business to help you figure out which one this is. So the first problem that we see time and time again is a skill and a training gap. What happens is that you have a team and the culture is great. The culture is amazing, but they don't have the skills and the training to complete things efficiently and effectively. So what happens is our staff take too long to complete tasks. There's no cross-training efficiency. So we have a couple of really great stars inside of the business carrying the entire business, and then other people only focus on set roles. So what happens is that we're not driving efficiency because our team aren't cross-trained across our whole organization. You're saying, I just need quality staff, or I just need better team members. I can promise you, you've got a skill versus training gap. Now, the people that you have are capable, they just haven't had the opportunity to be trained how you need them to be training. The second problem when it comes to wages is the culture and accountability gap. People don't understand the numbers, they see the turnover coming in, and they think, life's great, why should I have to work faster? What happens is that bad habits form over a period of time, slowly but surely, and then that starts costing you extra hours, which means it starts costing you extra dollars. A really good sign of this and how to see this inside your business is you'll find that staff start doing the bare minimum. They'll only do just enough, and just enough is good enough. And when you start seeing this inside of your restaurant, you know you've got a culture and accountability gap. What I'm talking about here is that we're rostering within no set forecast. We might be rostering because certain people need hours, or this is what we've always done, or this is what we used to do, so our team get used to it. Us as owners feel obligated to do that. What we need to understand is that if we can't pay ourselves and our business isn't profitable, it's no point in putting extra shifts on for people just to keep them in a job. This is a really good sign that people have got comfortable with the rosters. So understanding those first three wage problems is really important in where you sit, because when you understand what that problem is, then we can go to work getting it fixed. If you get all those three and none of those is what's happening with you. You've got staff who are cross-trained and they're working really well. Your roster's as tight as it possibly can be, and your team are going above and beyond, and you still have a wage problem. Well, then we need to move on to step two, which is understanding we have a revenue problem. Now, if we have a revenue problem inside of our business, the quickest way to diagnose this will be low customer count, low customer spend, or one-time visit rates. What will happen there is that you'll have weak social media presence. There will be zero upselling. And when I say upselling, we need to think about it'll be zero customer enhancement. And that's okay, because no one's ever shown you or your team how to do it effectively enough to make customers feel great and want to return. Or there'll be a poor team vibe inside of your business where people come once, your reviews won't be bad, but people won't come back because it'll just be a weird vibe. And that weird vibe check wraps back around to a culture problem from up the top, and we just need to start working on it. And then step three, once we understand if it's a wage problem or a revenue problem, then we diagnose that. We need to think about step three, which is the root cause of all the issues, which is the leadership. Now, you as the owner or you as the manager, you are the leader. You're ultimately responsible. And you need to cut yourself some slack, because what happens in hospitality is that you get busy, you get stressed, you're carrying the financial burden, you're carrying the hours burden, you're dealing with all the customers, you're dealing with the suppliers, you're dealing with the staff, you're dealing with everything. And let's be honest, the restaurant industry is a seriously noisy place, and there's a lot of stress put on the owners, which, to be quite frank, isn't fair, but that's what happens. Now, what happens is when an owner's under stress like that, the first thing that happens is our leadership drops. Now, it's happened to me, and it happens to everyone. It's okay, but we just need to recognize it so we can start fixing it. So what I need you to ask yourself is, one, have you started training your team? When was the last time you spent and did a training session with your team? When was the last time you did a culture session with your team? You know, have you given your team clear standards of what you expect? And if you have given them clear standards, are you giving them positive feedback when they do it well? And then are you giving them corrective feedback when you need them to improve? And then do you hold them to those standards the more and more that you give them feedback? If the answers to all of them is no, you don't have a wage problem, you've got a leadership problem. And that's been brought about because of the stress that you've been under in your business. We need to fix that. So we recently had a restaurant come on board with us who was running a 51% wage cost. Now, 51% is insanely brutal. And it was really obvious that they were bleeding cash. They were trying to cut hours weekly, every single week. The owner was inside the business, working as much as what they could do. And morale was tanking because the business was slowly dying. And when a business is dying, morale tanks. And when an owner's energy level starts to drag down because they're under so much pressure, morale tanks. And that's what was happening inside of this restaurant. So what we did was we didn't touch the hours of the business, but what we went and did is we went and fixed the service. We retrained the team to enhance the customer experience. We got really, really clear on our menu items and what was the most profitable. And then we ran a bunch of promotions through their social media to help them increase their customer spend. We didn't focus on bringing in new customers, but what we did was we focused on enhancing the customer experience so that current customers we did have ended up spending more. And in turn, that raised the revenue. Now, over a 6-week period, just because of that revenue raise, and then the team had something positive to focus on, wages dropped. They went from 51% to 36%. We did that in 6 weeks. And the revenue went up by $12K a month. Now, $12K a month in your size business might not seem a lot, or it might be like, wow, 12 months would significantly impact my life. But it's not about that. It's about getting focused on something positive, focusing on the things that are actually going to drive the biggest results faster, and then getting some runs on the board. Now, is that solution going to be the long-term solution for that business? No. There's a lot more steps that we need to do. This was just the quick fix to stop the business from bleeding money. Now, once we stop the business from bleeding money, then we implement a full implementation plan that is run off their numbers, that is going to drive them the profit that they've been looking for, and we'll roll that out over a 24-month period because Rome wasn't built in a day, and it takes some time to fix these businesses. There's not one thing that's going to change your business. There's not one thing that's going to change your bank account. It's a bunch of little things done consistently over a period of time. Going, Tim, it's all good for you to say this, but we can't afford that help, or we can't afford to get someone in to help us do this. And if I knew how to do it and I had time, I'd already be doing it. What I've got to say to you is that you can't afford not to do it, because the path that you're on right now, if you don't make a significant change, and sometimes you need to invest in that change, if you don't make that significant change now, I promise you that in 6 weeks' time, things are going to be even worse. So my question to you, is this a wage issue or is it something deeper? It's what you're not seeing. It's going to give you the result that you're looking for. If you want some help with this, click the link below and we'll send you across our average customer spend calculator with a quick training video on how to use that calculator. And if you still want some more help, click the link and book a call with one of my team, and let's help you build out a strategy and help you implement a strategy that's going to fix your business for good.